Hello, everyone. With me, Mr. Shlomo Shoham, retired judge, lecturer, author, visionary. As first commissioner for future generations, Israeli parliament, he was tasked with the difficult work of representing the needs, interests, and rights of those not yet born, and of course also people around us. And Shlomo understood a long time ago that a new global transformation must appear, and it will not happen just by itself. So he took the task and the responsibility to lead with many other global leaders that he has trained under his hands. And as he founded the Sustainable Global Leadership Academy, SGLA, which train young leaders with the appropriate potential. And at the core of the holistic curriculum is future intelligence, which comprises sustainability, visionary thinking, and creative foresight. So, Shlomo, welcome. And I'm so grateful and thankful to have you here having this conversation with me. And so let me ask with a very basic common question. How are you?
I'm okay, I woke up this morning and I know what is my calling. And this makes the whole setting of life totally transformative and different. When I wake up in the morning and I know who am I and where I'm going, where am I going, then it creates meaning, in my life. And when you have meaning to your life, everything looks a lot better.
Absolutely. But I must share something that you can definitely teach many in regards. Mostly when people wake up, they have all these troublesome daily morning thoughts, that take them either down or just too busy with life routine, that they don't even listen to these, very gentle voice inside of them. Maybe you have maybe you have something you can recommend people as to be more attentive to their own inner voice and
No, when I was young, I grew in an Orthodox Jewish family. We were trained to say every morning, Modeh ani lefanecha. Means you begin your day with gratitude. And also now the new science shows that when you want to connect to your heart-brain synchronicity, begin with gratitude. So I think if you train yourself, it takes some time, but it's easy.
Yeah.
To begin your day with gratitude, to say, Modeh ani lefanecha melech chai vekayam, שהחזרת בי נשמתי וחמלה רבה אמונתך, means thank you, Almighty God, that you gave me back my soul and spirit. When I'm sleeping, my soul is up there in the sky somewhere. So, and I got it back, and I woke up, and I'm healthy, and I'm happy. I have to thank somebody. So you can thank God if you believe in God or existence or nature or cosmos, whatever you feel. But when you begin your day with gratitude, and then you can also pray, ask something for yourself. Because what I say usually, that as long as we are on this in this lifetime, and I don't believe in gurus so much. So as long as we are on this lifetime, we have something to do. And when we have something to work on ourselves, means that we still have kind of attachments. We're attached to our life, we're attached to good life, well-being, etc. So when I am finishing saying this gratitude, I'm praying what I want to create in this day. And by doing these two things and asking existence to support me, asking nature to support me, the morning is totally different. And then, as you mentioned, I'm also going running afterward.
Yeah.
So when you go running in nature,
Yeah.
things are changing. You move your body. I was teaching once that we say when you move your body, you make a sound and you breathe correctly, then you heal yourself. So
Mhm.
you begin every morning with healing. And
Absolutely.
there is research about it. If you do it in the first 5 seconds after you wake up, all these mind fucks, if you allow me to say mind fucks, are not coming to you. It's like you connect to this, what you want to create in your life. And you connect this, it's totally focused. And this is really very, very important.
Yes, Shlomo. Let me ask you this. You were educated, you were taught, conditioned. This was part of your childhood tradition. What would you recommend to those that really want to take charge of their life, to take the responsibility, to change and to become, a better humans? Then how would you recommend them like to wake up with this sense of being grateful and thankful and you know
I'll tell you, Sharon, people are asking me these questions. So first of all, I want to tell you that we have emotions, and we say emotions. E is the sound of our hara, and
Mm.
motion is the movement.
Wow.
So
Wow.
emotions are coming and going, and we can create them all the time.
Wow.
So for example, if I'll do like ha 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 ha, you're gonna laugh, when I'm faking it, but when I connect to this feeling, things are happening. People will look at us. They may say this Shlomo Shoham is crazy man, but they also can say maybe if we do this like ha 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 every morning, it will work. So and it's easy because to train yourself, if you do it 21 days, not more, every morning, and you fake it even,
Yeah.
after 21 days, it becomes part of you. And
Absolutely. You
so
know,
this is something that we are training. So it's easy to do it. It's not so complicated. And if you wake up in the morning and you feel sorry on yourself and you say, oh, what kind of life I have, I'll give you another tip maybe.
okay.
I was born to my mother, Chedva Shoham.
Mm.
My mother was, when she was 17 years old, she was in Auschwitz in the Holocaust.
Mm.
All her family was killed. She was there only with one sister. Afterward, they found another brother,
Hmm.
but they were 8 brothers. They all were killed by the Nazis. Father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, uncles, almost everybody, the whole family was destroyed, vanished.
Mm.
Before she died, she said to me, she had cancer and she couldn't even speak so good. But she said to me one sentence that changed my life. I knew it before, but it was like very, she told me, already there, you have been with me. Means when
Wow.
she was 17 years old, when she didn't know everybody, she was in the midst of hell. She knew she can create her future.
Wow.
She knew that she will go out of the Holocaust and she will come to Israel. She wanted to come to Israel. And she knew, she created in her mind, in her future imagery, what I'm calling, her elder son. She created me in her imagination, but it's not just imagination. She created something very physical in her body to be able to create her family. Now we have children, grandchildren, etc., etc., etc. So when I was young, even when I was looking at her eyes, and I had my own problems, I don't know, things like stuff that you have as a child,
Yeah.
the toy was not good or things like this. And I was looking at her eyes. What can you say to a woman that when she was 17, she created her life out of nothing? So this is something that gave me a lot of power. And I'm sharing it in SGLA, in the academy, in our teachings, in our program. We are beginning our basic program the 12th of January now. So maybe we can also invite people to come. And when we are doing it, I know it's possible. It's not something that I assume or think. I know it's possible. I know it's possible, like I made it in my life as well. when I was born, I was born with a lot of anxieties. You can understand, it was 6 years after she ran away from Auschwitz. And the anxieties were, I was breastfeeding with anxieties. So I was a very anxious child.
Mm.
And I know that when I was always connecting to this desired future, I really succeeded to go out of it.
Wow.
And it is something that everybody can do. And now we are teaching also healing and how to heal yourself and all this new science for sure. But the minute you know it can happen, it's your responsibility or it's my responsibility to share it in this world as much as I can. And if because of my anxieties or because of my fears or anger or rage, I created mess or I hurt people or whatever is there, it's my responsibility to create forgiveness and to create different world and transformed world for myself and for all the others. So this is something that we have to really understand.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
okay, go
No,
on. I can go for
that's
hours.
beautiful. I have a few things to share. There is a non-profit in Israel now that promotes storytelling of heroic stories in regards of the Holocaust. So definitely, this is an amazing story. And the other thing in regards of waking up with laughter and like after a period of you know um 18 days or so, some new conditionings and behaviors that takes maybe 18 days or 21, some might take longer, up to 256 days. This is science, but it shows us that we can change. We can change our conditioning, our behavior, our way of thinking, what we feel, and who we are, like on a daily basis. And when I say who we are, this is what I wanted to add, that it's not just on the personal level, it's a society. You say, first you fake it till you make it. Then for us to elevate and reach and become a more just and integrity as a society, yeah, we can on the way just promote incentives for for people who show more care and compassion toward one another. And that's what I crave for and really inspire. Like
Yes.
maybe you have something you want to add to that, Shlomo.
First of all, I totally appreciate what you said. It's really, yes, this is it, there is possibility. But I will change the word change, I will transform the word change into transformation.
Uh,
When I'm coming to the class and the students, I ask everybody who wants change in his life. And everybody is raising his hands. And I say, I have good news and bad news. The bad news is there is nothing like change. And then everybody says, you say there is nothing like change. I said, yes. I totally believe in transformation. When you have something in your life that doesn't work, and you're putting efforts to change it, it's like the law of attraction. It's like the third rule of Newton, if I remember correctly, the numbers.
mm,
So it is like when you put 1 kilo on the wall gives you a kilo resistance. If you put 1 ton, you get 1 ton resistance. So if you want in your life abundance, love, career, whatever is there, don't focus on what you want to change. You have to understand first, like you have a ball of wire behind your head, behind your shoulders, and this ball of wire is this limitation that you took from somewhere in nature, maybe from your parents, maybe from somebody said some word. You wanted to do something and somebody said, are you crazy to do it? And then you stop. This is the ball of wire of traumas, of old patterns. And when you take this ball of wire slowly, slowly, and you open it gently, the future comes to you effortlessly. Effortlessly. It's like Rabbi Cook says it, and the book of Tao says it. So then you just take your hand and you take it from the endless abundance. You have to open this to share it. Otherwise, if you close, it stops. But if you take it and share it all the time, there are no limitations, and you can do whatever you want. So this is the reason I prefer to say transformation than to say change.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but all what you said, I totally agree. We can transform ourselves. We can transform the world. And sometimes the training is not so hard. It can be effortlessly.
I, if I may add, Shlomo, I believe that this is in our DNA. This is what we were created for. Like, see it as a caterpillar. He doesn't speak the butterfly language. He doesn't understand because he's a caterpillar. And it does change. He eats and consumes, and it's me, give, and I mean, take, just for himself. And he grows, he change, but only after he really goes through this phase of becoming a pupa, just like we go to meditate or to isolate in the temple. It doesn't have to be so far. It's just like a phase in life that we just meet with ourselves, and suddenly we transform. We become completely something else. We like a butterfly. Like, I believe that most people, in the stages of growing and changing as caterpillars, they still have no idea that one day, not only them, us, the entire human race, will become as caterpillars. Like, what do you have to say? Sorry?
I totally agree. One of the challenges I see that many people don't really understand who they are, don't really understand that they are so, I would say, endless powerful, that they are so powerful, and they can really transform the world.
Mm-hmm.
You don't transform the world yourself. I'm teaching resonant leadership, so we are doing it together in a special vibration,
Mm-hmm.
special connecting to the magnetic field of the world, according to new science.
Yeah.
But this is something that when we are there, this is what we do in the future imagery exercise. We first imagine our best future. And then we imagine there is a ladder, like Jacob's ladder. You go from the ground to the sky.
Yeah.
And then you look to the unknown, and you get kind of a message from the unknown. And then you see your future self.
Yeah.
And when you see your future self, it's like a magic. You see your future self coming to you.
Yeah.
And then in a magic, you become your future self.
Absolutely.
And when you become your future self, each and every cell in your body, 50 trillion cells, are becoming the future self cells. So within you, you have already this feeling and knowing that you know what to do. You know what is the meaning of your life. You know where to go. You know when you are in a junction, you just close your eyes, you look inside, and you know where to go. So this is kind of a transforming method, idea, and it works. At the beginning, I was promising people that they will come to the program, they will feel it, and I thought maybe I'm exaggerating. But now, after thousands of people have done this, it is really, really amazing that it can happen, and it happens.
You mentioned Jacob ladder, so why the angels went up and down the ladder. So one of the stories for this is that even when you go up, it's not to stay there, it's to go down and hold someone in his hand and also bring him up. And this is our role here. Even when you have transformed and reached the highest spiritual level, this is what you do. This is your destiny here. as said, we take nothing to the grave but what we leave in others. And in that regard, like when you talk about the future self, and I love it, I wish we were taught, in schools, in kindergartens, to imagine our future self, because I think this is definitely gonna get us out of these climate crisis or value crisis that we experience in now. Not that this is new, but it will definitely help us elevate on a new spiritual level that as for the entire humanity. I like, as part of my transformation, if I may say, I have adopted the philosophy that in my core identity, I am the entire humanity. I am the whole humanity. And then if you want around, yes, I am part of my family and these communities, like the Israel community and the Jewish community, and the entire, you live in universe. So
Einstein said that in this planet Earth, we are one. We all connected. Everything in the world is connected. He was a great physician. And we have this kind of feeling that we are separated from the rest. And he said, this is an optical delusion. So the truth is that we are connected. And then he says something that he's talking like a Zen master. He said, our task must be to embrace all humanity and all the cosmos in its beauty. And then we create what I'm calling, we create this interconnectedness all over the world. Then I feel connected to you. And if you know the science, the new science shows it exactly, the quantum physics shows it. And you know that we are all part of one essence.
Yeah.
You can call it like a wave. You can call it, it can be like a rock, but at the end of the day, it is all one, because also in the rocks, there are atoms and protons and neutrons. So it's all moving. It's only our concept that thinks that something is stable. We are all moving all the time.
Amazing. I like to say MC square equals L, which means love, which is the most powerful energy in the universe.
That's right.
and in regards of us being interconnected and as interbeings, I think by seeing in my core identity that I am the whole humanity, it opens me up and my consciousness, instead of closing me out of fear and this is a real transformation, I must say, at least for me and everyone around me. I want to ask you a question, as I mentioned, the climate change. Like, what do you think might be the best act or to fight against climate change? I know it's
the
a
first
big
thing to do is not to fight against anything.
Yeah.
This is again the law of attraction. If you fight against law, it's like you say, I'm for this prime minister or against this prime minister, but our subconscious doesn't know the words for or against. So climate change is a word. If you say I'm for climate change or against climate change or global warming or whatever we call it, then it always in the midst of a war, and this will not help.
I love it.
What I see, they say in the East that when the heart is open, pros and cons are disappearing. So what I feel and believe that it's all about the evolution of our awareness on this planet Earth. And I see many people who are not in politics, who are not captive of any interest, are going beyond their greed and their need for recognition and the need for power. And I see this is what we are doing as creating, training the future leaders. I can see a world led by future leaders, people who are authentic, who are human, who are future oriented, or what I call sustainable leadership oriented.
Mm-hmm.
So when I know that it's going to happen. We just have to pray that nature will have the capability to stay in any way until it's going to come. But it has to come from something that comes from inside. Because I saw many green organizations, etc., that they are fighting like the old politicians.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work in the end. It doesn't work.
Absolutely.
So this is something that we have to do. I see that we don't have much remaining time.
Yeah.
So I will ask your permission just to invite the people to SGLA if it's okay for you. We are beginning our course, the coming basic course at the 12th of January. And our website is sgla2020.com. Maybe you'll write it down under our interview. And you can go there and you create an interview with me for half an hour each by Calendly. You will see it in the website. And I'm going to talk to you about your meaning, about your calling, about your destiny. And then we can talk about this and then also invite you to come to the program. And I can tell you from my experience, and I'm really careful not to promise too much, but I know that if you will come, surrender, open yourself, forget what you know, and be able to create any kind of transformation, it's going to happen in your life. And I know, Sharon, that you have been in this program, but I'm inviting you to come again. I think you will enjoy it, or at least to come to be in our facilitator's course.
I
so
will
you can facilitate her.
Thank you so much for that invitation. You know, really, I loved how you just stopped me with the word like how to fight climate change, because I also do believe that if we want to connect, then it's not with these negative forces and impulses. It's all the old way of thinking, like zero sum winners and losers, but completely changing the game. And this is why we are here for. Now, I want to say, like, SGLA is the Sustainable Global Leadership Academy. So now everyone is familiar since, I would say, August the 2nd, 2015, we became familiar with the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. So I'd like to know maybe what is it that you have to mention in regards of the SDGs?
First of all, I love the SDGs. You cannot hate it. They say it mentioned or put into frame all the good things that we can do that can help society, that can create well-being on this planet. The only thing I don't like so much is it comes from a survival mode sometimes.
Yeah.
When you are creating, I wrote in my book that you cannot create out of survival mode.
Absolutely.
You have to create out of future creation mode. Means when you go with a mindset of surviving, then it will not work. Because again, the law of attraction, it can work when you put yourself in imagining your paradise, the global paradise. And from this global paradise, we do it like for 7 years from now, and then we do the backcasting. So if you know where we want to be in 7 years from now, then we can know easily where we want to be in 6 years, in 5 years, in 4 years, 3 years, and then we know what to do tomorrow morning. And then it's totally different because you don't fight with reality, you don't fight against these guys that some of them, unfortunately, want to make more money and they are greedy. But at the end of the day, we leave it as outside of the whole conversation. We look to the future. We imagine the world as a paradise, that every human being has a well-being life, that the food is there, that we don't destroy this planet, etc., etc., etc. And when we are able to imagine it and we agree on how we want to see the world in 7 years, then we can create this backcasting and know exactly what to do tomorrow morning. And this can work, especially when I'm talking about the future generations, because all these tycoons, they also have future generation. They have children and grandchildren. And when you mention this, I know it from my work in the parliament, sometimes it works better than everything else. Because this is an instinct that we want to take care of our children and grandchildren.
Absolutely. You know that in regards of survival mode that you mentioned, that I agree with you with this 100%. As we enter an era of abundance with a mindset of scarcity, and the level of anxiety are rising and multiplying 5 to 8 times among young people. This is not what we want. We want to allow them to imagine the future, with the mindset of abundance, and when you take yourself in imagination and start, say, like 2030, and this is where we want to reach, and this is the paradise that we want to enjoy from, and then taking it, like you mentioned before, like each year until we'll reach the next day, the next week. This is when we'll have a better plan, knowing exactly what is it that we need to achieve on a weekly basis, on an yearly basis, to that desired future that we all want to.
But there is it's a huge difference, because usually when human beings are planning, we plan from now to the future.
Yeah.
We say, okay, I have to do this next week, this year, etc., etc. You have to let go, to forget it, totally forget. You have to imagine the future, and then to listen to the calling from the future. I was trying to call my book "Future is Calling," but then when you have this kind of calling, then you know, and then it will change, because if you act from here, you act from survival. When you act from the future, you create your future, then you act from what I call future creation. And then it comes to you, and it can be totally different, because then you can see these years, and then you can see where to put your most efforts, or not efforts, even resources. And when you know this, you can find this critical mass that effortlessly you can touch one point in all this game that we have now and change and transform the whole world. So
Wow.
this is what I see, and this is the way I see it.
Shlomo, this is the best advice I believe that anyone could ever receive. And I would say not just on the personal level, also on other society.
Global level, sure.
I wish the parliament and businesses and non-profits and educational systems will all apply this as part of the curriculum and the mindset. If I knew this, like there are things that we all wish we knew when we were like in our 20s, or so this is, I would say, like one of the best advices I ever heard, and I want to thank you for your time and
thank you, Sharon, very much for inviting me. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for running on the beaches and collecting the plastic bags or whatever is there. And thank you for your belief that there is a possible future, amazing future, waiting for you and for me, for our friends and families, and for the whole world. Thank you.